So down in here working on the boat again, and just trying to do all little punch work I can where I can sit right here where the motor usually goes and have a little room to move and not be having to crawl down insides and work in cramped areas. And one thing I'm working on here is with this Bilge pump. I've got it popped loose right now so I can hold the switch up. Is that it was intermittently losing power, and it had a plug on here with a fuse holder just like this right here, a little fuse holder like that one that says stereo memory, and it had one right here, and this is it. I cut it off, and as you can see, get some good light here. We'll turn on the light here. As you can see, look at all that corrosion inside, highly corroded inside, and it wouldn't properly hold a fuse in it, and it was just really ate up. Apparently this little seal was not sealing real well, so that was the problem right there. So I just cut it off, and I am right here right now putting in a replacement fuse holder, as you see. And I just got all that put on good, and I'm about to heat shrink that down. And heat shrink these down ever so gently. Good morning, everybody. Well, it's a Saturday here, and I'm planning on dropping this motor in the boat, hopefully today, hopefully. Now, the motor's been ready. It hadn't been an issue. It's been ready for a couple of weeks. I've had other projects going on. I couldn't focus my time in over here on this boat. I need to focus it with the guys and the projects out there. And sometimes, every time I would get in the boat and just get started on something, climb up in here, get down in that engine bay and all, and just start doing something, or up in the cabin, I would hear boss, boss, boss. You know, of course they need some instruction, they need materials, they need different things, and I'm like, oh man, I was wearing myself out just climbing in and out, you know. And you just get your mind in what you're doing, you pull your mind back out of it, you kind of get scattered. So I said, nah, I'm gonna wait and get some stuff, move forward with them, and then I'll come back on this. So I found myself just coming out here sometime for a few hours, maybe an hour or so in the evening time, before it got too dark, but just before that evening sun piercing through right here. In the afternoon would be beaming in the boat. The boat would be so hot inside right there at this time of year, summer here in the Philippines. So I'd wait into the evening time when the sun was going down, things cooling off, and I'd work just for a little while out here. Then it's time to start editing video. So just little fractions, little tidbits, just trying to get 2 or 3 little tasks done a day. Now, what I mean by 2 or 3 little tasks, it has nothing to do with a motor. There's some upgrades I did on the motor, but the little task is other things in the boat that's just anybody out there with a sailing boat, a speed boat, any type of boat of much substance, you're going to have even a basic boat, you're going to have a lot of maintenance on it. It's just the way it is. Hoses break down, like the Bilge pump line, you know, it got old and brittle. I had to tape up a place on it. I got it right here, I'll show you. One time I turned on the Bilge pump and I hear the water running right back down into the engine compartment. Now, luckily the boat wasn't actually on the water. I did a little wet test in the Bilge when I was cleaning the Bilge, and I put the plug in the back of the boat, power washed all down inside in there, and soaked with some detergent all of that grease. And then I wanted to test the Bilge pump, and I turned on the Bilge pump, and I'm like, that water's not going outside the boat. It's running down inside somewhere. And I looked, and this hose was split. Yeah, it was split, and I taped it up. You know, some people probably would have called it a day right there, but who wants to trust that? So, of course, me being me, I had already bought extra sets of the discharge lines for the Bilge pump and for other through holes, and bought them a long while back. I just wanted to have them in case anything fell while you're out on the water. And not only I would buy replacements, I had already bought backups even to those that you could carry on the boat. They don't weigh nothing. Put them in a compartment somewhere, and you've got that peace of mind just in case you need it. Same thing on Bilge pump. Carry a backup Bilge pump. Don't weigh much. It's plastic. Stuff it off into a cavity in the boat somewhere, because anything that can prevent you from sinking, you need to carry it. Especially if you're in a country like I am, that you're going to be out on seas that there's no boat tow services. There's no radio up. The Coast Guard may or may not get there. The Coast Guard is highly improving here in the Philippines. They're getting nicer boats, thanks to countries like Japan and all donating to them and all. So there is more hope with the Coast Guard now than used to be. But who wants to bother them? Who wants to put them through a lot of effort and bureaucracy that goes along with the services here? Just do your due diligence. Do your due diligence and make yourself safe as you can, instead of putting a question mark out there on it and relying on others. It's not their duty. It's not their duty. So just doing other upgrades too, just like putting this rod holder in up here, repainting the Bilge, priming it, repainting, epoxying little holes and stuff where screws used to be, moving the wiring looms down to a better location. Let's go up there and have a look at it. This was all dingy gray like this. Didn't like it. Went through and took marine epoxy and did a lot of little servicing on it. So let me show you some things I did. So like this wire loom right here, it just goes down to the Bilge pump, and there's a ground right there for a through hole for the macerator on the toilet. It was right up here, and if you wanted to clean this out, say like this debris here, this loom was right along this edge, and it kept anything from being able to be wiped down and into the Bilge and washed out the Bilge. Just collected crap there. And then once the motor's in, you got one place to get back in here and work, and it's right here, and you would be laying right on top of that loom and these hard clips. Man, it was just ridiculous. So there's not even a reason that loom to be up there, and then the wiring coming all back around, and right where if you're working also and you need to step your feet down in here, it was right dead in the way. So I moved it down to down here. I reworked the looms. I got everything back in nice shape. Bilge pump, new discharge line, it's going out. Got all of this put in well. Then what else to do? Well, of course, you see all the painting I did. I filled this back hole. When we put the diesel in, we had to drill a different hole on the motor mount, and we had to drill one back here. So these were here, and with the diesel it needed to be here, and so we filled that hole in right there, completely in, top to bottom. It's like it was never there. And I filled this one completely, and I filled it all in, and then I re-drilled the original hole. And the same thing I did over here on this side also. What else did I do? Well, I changed out this cylinder. These are just in here right now, screwed in by hand. These little couplers just fill in the hole so nothing, no trash gets in. Power steering lines go on there. Changed the cylinder. Had a broken bolt in this arm here for the steering. So it didn't have the ground strap on there. That ground strap's extremely important, so got that repaired. New Bilge pump, new blower motor. Move the batteries back down in here in the corner. The switches for the batteries, I installed this double switch right here. This is the original. It just had an on and an off. It wasn't set up for dual batteries, so now I've got the set up here for dual batteries. So we got on, off, and all. And I'll switch it over to all so the other battery can charge right now off the solar. On, off, and all. And then there's going to be a third battery that's just going to operate stuff I'm using up in the cabin and all, so I don't accidentally leave some lights or something on and be stuck out there on the water. So now I've got set up for 3 batteries. You could even put a double on this if you want it, but now I'm set up better for that also. Yeah, back where there, this is where this one originally was, and I put the new one in down lower below it and set up better there on that now. Another thing I did to the boat is just like you just seen this door over here. Well, there was no door on this side and I needed more storage space, so I ordered this hatch. And look at all this space, man. You put my arm all down in here. It's huge and goes all back up in this gunnel. So I added that in, and I still need to build a board in the bottom and epoxy it in. So that's some more work that I did. Putting new gaskets on the Y pipe down there for the exhaust. The little check valve, little flaps in the exhaust right in here. I replaced this one over here on this side, put new set in it. Just lots and lots of little stuff. I mean, I could probably just keep going over all the things I did. Oh yeah, down here on this piece of plywood that they put in from the factory, this square is a piece of plywood that they put in there, I guess, to screw down a Bilge pump to, because of course this other fiberglass goes straight outside. And one of the problems is that it means the water's got to get up high and around this. And right here they had a huge divot down, and on the back a huge divot down that it just collected muck in, and it was just rough fiberglass. I mean, it was actually strands sticking out that would stab you in the finger. It wasn't well formed at the factory. So I sanded all that down. I got the gel coat off so I could get a bond, and I tapered those, filled and tapered those out with epoxy on both ends. Now it doesn't collect that trash there. And also they had this too full right here, and you can see they just were sloppy with it when they did it. And I took the sander when I was at it, and I made a little groove around on both sides, and now the water flows right on out to the back as it should, and it's not holding anything in there anymore. So that was another upgrade. Now if you see these wires like this all goes to the motor. These are grounds for everything. Grounds. The thing I would like to install today, may do it tomorrow, I may just focus on getting the motor sit down in there and off the chain in the air, is my West Marine radio. It's going to go in to the dash right here. This is a big hollow void. I did a little research and seen where other boat owners with the same boater put them in with the same boater same boat, put them in right there also. So I'll get that in. And once again, I even have a backup radio even for this, a couple of them actually. So don't weigh much, and I put it inside sealed in a bag. Little silica packs in there with it so it keeps the moisture out, and carry an extra radio with me. But I don't have to add that in immediately. I will be putting the water tank back in once the motor's in there. And before, it had a hand pump thing that wasn't very good. This boat was ordered pretty stripped. It did come wired for the freshwater pump. It's actually in the fuse box and all for it. It's set up for it. And the wires are right back there just ready for these to be plugged right up into. This is a pressure pump also that's got a switch in here. It'll turn itself off once it builds up pressure on the lines. Then you'll have a master switch, just like if you own campers. You'll have a master switch to turn it off physically also, so that if it popped the line or something, it don't just sit there and run and burn up. So what I'm doing here is preparing to put my marine radio in to the dash. I first drew lines up here. Wanted up as high as I could to see the numbers easy, but there's a ground block back there, and I could move the ground block, but I don't want to. I want to leave it like it is factory. So all I need to do is move it down an inch, and I clear the ground block, and it puts it right in line with this that I put in over here. It used to have just a 12-volt power port only, and I bought this. It's got a little DC USB charger, a voltage gauge, and that port, so you can plug up. Like I have a light charging here right now, in fact. So it put it all straight in line over there. So this is just a pencil mark, wipes away, especially if you didn't have dirty fingers. And what I'm doing is inside of those holes, or inside the mark right there at the point at the 90, I'm coming in, drilling a hole, and I'm gonna go get a bigger bit and bring it out more. And this is reinforcing behind it with a piece of 3/4 inch plywood that's sandwiched with fiberglass on both sides. So it's probably going to put it overall maybe 1.5 inches thick. So I'm going to take the jigsaw and jigsaw around this everywhere, and that'll give me a place to put in my blade and all, and make my cuts. And the nice thing about that being thick is that marine radio will be able, let me grab it here, it'll be able to slide into that opening then, and it'll have that 1.5 inches of material. Get my finger here. It had that 1.5 inches of material for this to rest in too. I'll come around and seal this right here once again with some I can even just use silicone, RTV, anything, and just kind of seal around that. But this is a waterproof marine radio. You see, even the mic states it's submersible. So West Marine, if any of you have any experience with these radios, I got a couple of them. See here, submersible. Tell me your experience. I got a couple different models. There's a white one sitting right over there by my laptop. I believe I got this thing all cut. Let's see here. Flip it the right way, this way. And nice and snug right here at the last, the way it should be. Right there, perfect. Perfect, perfect. It all has good room. I think I'm pull the tape on it now and put sealer. Shove it back in there. I may have to go backside and push it back out. It's in there. I mean, it's in there good and snug too. Y'all have to push it out from the back. So I got this tape around this, and I'll squeeze it in there, and whatever presses out around the edges, I'll take a X-Acto knife and clean it up. I want it sealed in there good though. Time has come to drop this motor down in here, and I've got it hoisted way up in the air here right now. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. Come on, a little bit more. Something this heavy up in the air. It's ready for it to get on over here. You can just hurt the boat, but don't hurt me. So it needs to go up about 4 more inches. Up, other way. Other way. Come on. Chain's hanging on something. Come on. I got about a foot left that I can pick it up. I need about 2 or 3 more inches here, maybe 2 more inches. And I need to spin it around. I'm gonna pull it on back. Oh, come on. Come on. Boy, it's just right at it. Probably wouldn't hurt to come up about 1 inch. And then I start letting it back down if I can get it to roll forward. Oh, come on. There you go. Keep her rolling. There you go. Keep her rolling. There you go. Beautiful. A little more. A little more. Ah, very nice. Very, very nice. There it is. Get this chain in here, and I'm going to start letting it down. The further down it is, the safer it is. Chain is hanging on something. There we go. There we go. Nice. Nice, nice. The lower down it is, the happier I am. Because the safer it is. All right. Keep on coming. So I gotta spin it around though. It's got a swivel here, but it don't swivel very good. Might have to put a wrench in it there, get it to turn. put a new power steering return line earlier. Get this chain over to the other side. Oh, we don't hang nothing. Yep, the low pressure return side, I got it replaced right here earlier. This line here going down to the heat exchanger cooler for the power steering fluid, and got a new one coming around back here that'll hook up to the power steering return on the cylinder back there. Very nice, man. Happy to see this going in. All right, we got a couple little bumps, so it's bumping somewhere over here on the other side. Oh, it's just bumping the seat here. Actually needs to go back just a little bit. There we go. So I'm gonna stop right there for the moment. But it is a good start. Woo! Boy, I'm happy to see that move from there. I've been leaving that old rubber tire there just in case it was to fall or anything. It would take the blow of it, maybe not break so many parts on the motor. Yeah, I mean, we got an I-beam and a trolley and all that, but you just never know. You know, something give way, fell, a gear in that or something give way. You just never know. So just trying to be a little cautious, probably overly cautious, but of course you don't want to get hurt. So, and you don't want your motor destroyed. So I was trying to keep that big old thick truck tire underneath it where it might take the blow if it was to drop. But it's over the boat now. Of course, need to keep lowering it down. One thing I haven't done yet, I was going to wait till the last minute to do, is pull the out drive, the stern drive off the back, because the shaft's still sticking out. And the reason I want to do that, at the last minute, just didn't want the thing open and exposed to elements and all. So I'll pull that off. I've got all the nuts off of it already back there and everything ready to just slip it out of the way. So that's all I like. And I've been cleaning the boat, and I had meant to get that last of that little mess in water where I power washed everything down into the Bilge from all up here. Wish I had done that. I didn't. So darn it, should have done that. But everything looks good right now. I'm going to stop right here and take a little break. Go back there, pull that out drive off now. I may take the shop vac, reach down there with a long tube and suck that last little bit of stuff out. I want that Bilge clean to start with, and we'll take it from there. Something that I haven't shown here is I got the marine radio in and going. So got that. I need to program it for the international channels instead of the US or the Canada channels. You can program it for US channels, Canadian channels, or you can program it for international. So I need to program that. It's not too hard to do. Another thing is this little port right here. It has two USB chargers here on it and has a voltmeter. It had quit working, and it's something I bought new and put it in, and it quit working. I thought, oh man, what the heck. It turned out that there was some dirty ground connections on the main ground blocks on the boat, so I took all those loose, cleaned them all up, and the voltage actually went up higher, because sometimes I was only getting a reading like 10, half 12 volts up here on some of this stuff when the battery back there was showing, you know, like 13.3 or something, you know. So I knew there was a loss somewhere. I thought maybe the wires are getting bad, maybe they're getting, you know, salt corroded or something, but it turned out it was just dirty on the ground blocks. So I cleaned that up, and now I have strong voltage up here, which I've been running lights and stuff. The battery's at 12.6 right now, but if I turn everything off and the solar panels will have it charged back up to 13 something just a little bit. And I've got this little port right here too, and I'm really happy to report that that little cheap sucker, it wasn't a high grade one, that sleeve in there has not rusted or anything, so that's good. I've got the Garmin, I had wired it up before, but I didn't have it wired the way I wanted. I went off of power off the ignition switch. I wanted it down properly to the fuse box with the proper ends right on the proper fuse for it. And this time I got all that just like if it was factory installed. Got all that going. One thing right here is this is all I have for an antenna right now for this radio. I've got to locate where I can buy the long antenna for it. But this is better than nothing, but I really want the long antenna for it, so it's not always easy finding and getting those things here. The Garmin, I got the app loaded on my phone, and then there's a Wi-Fi that syncs between this unit and your cell phone that you do updating and stuff on. It's an Active Captain app. I've got that set up on there, and it has started doing a software update and it didn't finish it. And they say it's be very careful doing that on Garmin's site because it could tank the unit. So I don't know why that it stopped, but I want to make sure that everything's stable. My phone's charged, good connections, apps are up to date on my phone and everything before I do it again, because I do not want that to tank. And let's see here, we'll go out of that. We can go here to navigate. Let's see here, we'll just go to home. We can go here to charts right now. We'll just say navigation chart, and it's going to show here where I'm at. That I probably went a little bit too far out. So here's Iloilo. This is me right along the beach here in Iloilo. We'll zoom back. This is Panay Island. This is Negros over here, the Antique region, all that. So it's accurately there where I'm at. This is also touchscreen. I can do it with my fingers here. So it's giving the depths on the water. For instance, it's saying that the water right out here is 6,562 feet deep. You see, 6,562 on the depth. And then it graduates up 328, and then it actually has a high point and a low again, 1,000 or 1,640 feet, just right back behind the boat here at several graduations. Right back behind the boat here, 656. You can see it kind of steps off right behind 328. Down to 66 feet, and then up here the shore just gets down next to nothing. So it does kind of pretty steady drop off and get on down about 1.25 miles deep right there. 6,562 feet, and out here it's 16,000. This is just like a huge hole right out from it here. Right out here, and here it's 16,404 feet deep. Yeah, in this whole big area right here, coming up into the Panay Gulf, up around the southwest side of Negros and all right out there. It's just a big old deep hole right there, several miles deep. So got that all going. I got the trim tab switches drilled and mounted in. Right now what I'm working on is this switch here. The upside is not working, the downside does work, and I've got the wiring poked out right here right now. I took the speaker out while I'm doing this, so I don't have to be laying down underneath in the aft cabin back there trying to deal with this. So the one wire right here is not getting any signal to the back, and it's pretty black and looks salt corroded. But it's not just only that wire, it's not sending a signal to the back. This switch is also bad, so it's a duplex of things. I can put the voltmeter on it and I get a pass-through signal on the up but not on the down, so that sucks. And I knew that there was a problem here with this, and I had bought a new harness to go from the remote right here to the back to the pump. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is just eliminate these wires and run the new harness back. But I'll still have to take this remote apart and replace the switch. And so I'm going to have to get into that still.